Good morning, world. I am Judy, your web-based therapist, making therapy accessible and convenient for our clients in Florida and New York, and of course, sharing information worldwide. Today, I wanted to talk about 5 answers that you want when deciding whether or not to stay together after infidelity. In a previous video, I talked about 5 questions to ask. So today, I want to talk about 5 answers that you want to make sure that you get when making that decision of whether or not you're going to stay together after an incident of infidelity. First one is, does your partner want to stay together? A lot of times we think of the person who was cheated on as the one making the decision of do they want to stay with this person who cheated on them. But we often forget that the other partner still has a say. Does your partner want to stay together? You may want to stay together, but if your partner does not feel the same, it still does not work. So you have to ask, you have to figure out or get the answer of whether or not your partner wants to be in this relationship. 2. Is the external relationship over, or are they prepared to end it? Sometimes we get into that, hey, let's fix it, before we take time to address what is going on, where we are. You have to determine, you have to ask and get the information and get the answer of whether or not that relationship is over. If your partner is still with that other person, if your partner is, if that relationship is still going on, and you start going into, hey, let's repair. Are you repairing with the intention of, hey, your partner is going to stay with both of you, or what is going on? Or if you want your partner to end that external relationship, you need to know that as you get into that space of, hey, let's start repairing our relationship, you need to know that this is something your partner wants to do, that your partner is prepared to or is ready to go ahead and end that relationship. 3. Is your partner prepared to work to rebuild the trust and rebuild that and what you had in that relationship? After infidelity, there are a lot of things to be addressed. There are a lot of things to be repaired. There is one of which is that trust, that feeling of safety and security that you once had in that relationship. And it's not something that you just get to do by yourself. It's something that you and your partner are going to work on together. And if your partner is not prepared to do that work with you, it may not be feasible. So as you make the decision of, hey, I'm going to invest in repairing my relationship and rebuilding the trust, you need to ask your partner, you need to figure out if this is something your partner is prepared to help you do, because otherwise you're going to be working on this by yourself. And it's a lot more difficult to rebuild trust with someone who's not interested in working with you to rebuild trust. Finding that sense of safety or regaining that sense of safety in the relationship is going to be a lot harder if the person who removed that sense of safety from you is not prepared to work with you in bringing it back. 4. You need to know what your partner thinks or how they feel about the infidelity, because that will determine where they stand, or that will help you understand where they stand on your relationship, as well as the possibility of this occurring again. A lot of times people will have the situation where it's like, okay, it was something that I know I shouldn't have done. It was something that I did. They may have some remorse. They may feel that they shouldn't have done it. They may have a range of feelings, but they also may have that thing of, yeah, I did it because you didn't do XYZ. So this means that if you don't do XYZ again, I'm going to do it again. So you need to know where they stand, because where they stand on the infidelity that occurred will give you a fairly good idea where they stand on future infidelity. And that will help you determine, hey, am I willing to stick around for this? Because if you're not sure, if what they think or how they feel about the infidelity does not jive with what you think or what you would like, then it may be time for you to start making some, difficult decisions. Okay. Finally, is your partner ready to recommit to your relationship? And what conditions do they have for that recommitment? Because after the person steps out of the relationship, there's going to be that step of recommitting. So you need to know if your partner is willing to remake that commitment, recommit to your relationship of, hey, my wife and I, my husband and I, my boyfriend and I, my girlfriend and I, we are working on rebuilding, recommitting to our relationship, meaning that, hey, we're going to be addressing our issues. We're going to handle all problems. We're going to figure out our communication issues. We're going to figure out whatever it is that we need to figure out so that I am committed to my relationship with my spouse, my relationship with my boyfriend, my girlfriend, whatever you guys are calling each other. You need to know that they're ready and prepared to recommit to that relationship, as in, hey, it's just you and them in that relationship and not you, them, and the other person or 2 or 3 other people. And of course, you want to make sure that you know any conditions that they have for recommitting to that relationship, because you want to make sure that whatever conditions they have are conditions that you're prepared and able and willing to go forth and accept. Like, for instance, if the condition is, yes, I'll commit to you, but I want to keep him or her, you may not be comfortable with that. And knowing that this is a condition will help you make the decision of what you want to do about the relationship. Let's do a quick recap. 1, you want to know if your partner wants to stay together, because that's a big player, because just because they cheated does not mean, or because you want to stay together does not mean they have to want to stay together. 2, is the external relationship over, or are they ready to end it? Because if you don't want to be in that trio relationship and they do, so that's an important answer to know, because if you don't want to be in a relationship with someone having a third relationship, that's an important question to have or to get asked. 3, is your partner prepared to work to rebuild the trust in whatever is broken in that relationship? Because infidelity causes a lot of problems in relationship. A lot of things get broken, a lot of feelings get hurt. And you doing that work by yourself does not work as well as doing it with your partner. You need your partner working with you to fully, really, truly repair your relationship. So you need to make sure that they are prepared to do that work with you. 4, how does your partner think, or what does your partner think, or what do they feel about the infidelity? Because what they think about this infidelity will help you determine, or will help you understand whether or not it will happen again, or whether or not it's something they think will probably may happen, or they're not concerned about preventing from recurring. So make sure you understand what their thought of the infidelity is, or how they feel about the infidelity, whether or not there's remorse, whether or not there's any sense of it was your fault and not theirs, whatever it is that they're feeling. You want to make sure that you know. And of course, is your partner ready to recommit to your relationship, and what conditions do they have? Because, hey, if they're not interested in committing to the relationship, it doesn't matter what you do, that relationship is not really going to happen. It's not going to work effectively, because if one person committing and one while the other does not commit, does not usually work. And if they have any conditions for committing to the relationship, you want to make sure that you know what those conditions are before you get in and put in work, because that's what determines if or what you're whether or not you're going to be in that relationship. Because if it's conditions that you can't accept, then it's not going to happen. Because, hey, if the condition is me, you, and her, hey, it might not work. So make sure you know any conditions and they're acceptable to you before you jump in. As always, if you or someone you know happens to be going through something that's more than you can handle, please remember that even right now when things are so chaotic, there are professionals like myself who are available, able, and willing, and are providing remote services even to help with anything that you may have going on. So please figure out who those people are in your community, so that if you need the help, you can reach out and get the help that you need. And that is all we have for today. Good morning, world. Have an awesome day.